We've all been there. The trendy diets, the extreme exercise programs, the new gimmicks that promise to help us shed pounds instantly. Is it even possible to end the cycle of trying to lose weight only to fail a few months later? Yes, and I'm living proof of it. This is the first time that weight loss has truly felt different for me out of all the times I've tried to lose weight in my lifetime. It feels maintainable. And maintenance is the goal with weight loss and wellness, because that's what happens when we reach our goal and permanently break the cycle of weight regain. Hello and welcome to Amanda Widener Wellness. My name is Amanda. I'm so excited to have you here. On this channel, we talk about all things weight loss, weight management, tools like GLP-1s, fitness, nutrition, and everything in between. Today, I'm going to discuss how this time really was different from every other time I've tried to lose weight in my lifetime. I'll go over how I finally broke the cycle of losing and regaining and how I feel like I can continue like this forever. What was different? What made it easier? I'm ready to share with you. But first, I have a disclaimer. I am not a doctor or a healthcare provider. And while I am a personal trainer and group fitness instructor, I'm not your personal trainer or group fitness instructor. So please speak with your doctor and wellness team before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or medication regimen. Everything on this channel is based on my opinions and experiences. And now's a great time to ask, if you haven't already, I would love for you to like and subscribe so that you don't miss more videos like this. Your support really helps the channel to grow. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so I would really love your support. And if you want to share this with anybody else who might find this content interesting, I would love for you to do that as well. Weight loss. It's a tough topic for so many of us. If you're like me, you've probably been struggling with being overweight since childhood. I remember being as young as 8 years old and being placed on a diet full of foods that I hated and not understanding why I was so different from my peers. Or maybe you haven't dealt with this since childhood. Maybe this has crept up on you in adulthood as your lifestyle and your hormones have changed, or after having children, or after an injury. All of these are common contributors to realizing that you have the disease of obesity. We all want to be healthy. We all want great health markers, uninterrupted sleep, to move about our day without pain or discomfort, and maybe even the pleasure of feeling like we are aesthetically how we want to look. But for those of us with the disease of obesity, these are things that often feel so far out of reach for us that it plagues us. These concerns and the constant food noise make living our lives and seeking wellness feel like an impossible dream, but it doesn't have to be. I'm proof of that. My current journey began like all my others, with a little bit of hope, and a whole lot of doubt. Would this really work? Nothing else had. Why would this time be different? Right? Those were the thoughts going through my head. But I gave it a try. I said, my health markers are finally not looking good. Everything that I've had in the past has caught up to me. It's time to buckle down. This is really like a last-ditch effort to try to make sure that I'm living a lifestyle that allows me to demonstrate how I want my children to live and to be there for them as they get older and get married and have children of their own. So should they choose to do those things, but no matter what they do, I want to be there to support them. And the path that I was on before, that was not going to be an option for me. And I knew that. So I decided to make this change, but I didn't know what to do because everything I had tried in the past had failed me. I'd been on every diet program, every exercise program. I had tried counting my calories and Weight Watchers. And if you could think of it, I've probably been on it. So I knew that none of those other things had worked. So something had to be different this time. So instead, I approached this as a way of thinking about longer term health. Instead of just trying to get the weight off, my goal was to live healthier. So instead of trying to reduce the number on the scale or get into a smaller pant size, my goal was not eat as little as possible so I can get there faster. My goal was find how I'm living my life now so that I can make tiny little changes to make it better, right? I was almost 40 years old. I just come to the determination that that's just the way I was going to look forever. I would always look like I was 284 pounds, and that's just who I was. But I wanted to be a healthier version of myself at 284 pounds if I could. So I wasn't going to try to exercise to extreme or reduce my calories to extreme. I was just going to take a look at what I was actually doing in my daily life that I wasn't aware of, and then make some little tweaks and changes so that I could be living it just a little bit better without it feeling like it was overwhelming, which is what every diet and exercise plan had felt like in the past. So I started with just bringing awareness to what I was eating. Bringing awareness to what I was eating led to making small changes in what I was eating, because once you're aware of what you're actually putting into your body and how many calories and how much fat and how much sugar is in that, it's really easy to have your eyes open and say, oh my gosh, I could definitely make a better choice here, right? And so I wasn't calorie counting and I wasn't actually looking at macros or anything like that in the beginning. I was literally just, what did I eat? I ate a burger with cheese and bacon and sauce, and I had a side of fries with cheese and sauce on it, right? Like I was looking at that, and then it was like, ooh, that's a lot. Maybe I didn't need all the sauce, and maybe I didn't need the bacon, right? So that was kind of like the first changes I made. And then over time, as I looked at what I was actually eating after I ate it, I was more likely to make positive changes as I chose the things I was eating. So maybe instead of choosing to eat a beef burger, I was like, well, I'll just eat a turkey burger. It tastes similar and turkey is much lower in calories. And so I feel a little bit better about eating that. And so it wasn't a big change at all in the beginning. It was something that was more about a long-term goal, right? So I knew that changing from a regular burger to a turkey burger was not going to get me into a size 6 pair of jeans very quickly, right? Like that wasn't the change that was going to make me lose weight, but it might be the change that was going to bring my cholesterol levels down. And so that's where I started this journey this time. That's one of the biggest things that was different. It wasn't motivated by, well, I would have loved to have been smaller. It wasn't motivated by me seeking weight loss as quickly as possible. It was motivated by, this is going to take me a really long time. And so what can I do now to just help get me started? So I started really small, and starting small made every change that I made to my lifestyle easy. Weight loss isn't easy. Making changes isn't easy. People don't like change, but making them very small and making them one at a time made it not intimidating, made it easy. It made it feel easy, even though nothing about change is easy, right? So once I kind of adapted to that, it was easy for me to change to, okay, well, I've been looking at what I'm eating after I eat it. Let me plug food in to my FitnessPal as I'm eating it. Oh, well, I've been plugging it in as I eat it. Maybe we should just plan our food out for the week ahead of time, and I'll plug it into my FitnessPal ahead of time, and I'll make changes when I need to. Because sometimes you put something in for Wednesday, on Sunday you might put in your food for Wednesday, and then on Wednesday rolls around, you're like, I didn't want to eat that, right? I would make those changes, but at least I had a plan. And having a plan helped me to, one, budget our grocery bill a little bit better, but two, it kept me from just like imagining what foods I should be eating and like letting my mind wander. Instead, it was like, well, I know what I'm going to eat for lunch on Tuesday and dinner on Tuesday and lunch on Wednesday, so I don't need to think about it. It's already planned. So that was a small change. Then somewhere in there, I decided to start going for a walk every day, right? So that was a small change. It didn't feel small at the time. The idea of adding a walk into my daily routine was intimidating to me. It was something I hadn't done for years, and I was literally doing it because my program, my fitness program, was doing a challenge, and I was like, I'm gonna do this challenge. I wanna add more activity into my day. I wanna add more steps into my day. I'm gonna do this for 30 days. I didn't plan to do this for more than 30 days. But when I got to the end of the 30 days, I realized I really enjoyed this walking. And after 30 days, it had become such a normal part of my routine that I didn't want to take it back out. But that first 2 weeks, adding in a walk every day was a challenge. It was hard, but it was a small thing. I was adding one thing to my day: go for a walk. It wasn't go for a walk and plan my food and go to the store and go to the gym and do this workout and change. I wasn't changing my whole lifestyle. I changed one thing that became a part of my lifestyle. Then I added another thing. Once that was a part of my lifestyle, then I added another thing. It was very small things that I added over time. Those small changes add up, right? When you talk about, at first I was just looking at what I was eating, and that led to me being more aware of what I was eating. So then I started tracking my food, and this just became a part of my lifestyle. I'm here a year later. I don't count my calories every day. In fact, I don't count my calories most days. I just check in from time to time to make sure that my food measurements, like my portions, are appropriate, and that I have an idea of how much I'm actually eating. Like, am I going over my daily amount that I should be eating? So I'll just check from time to time. But most days I don't calorie count anymore because I have an idea of how much I should be eating, and I'm better at listening to my body. But in the beginning, I added that in, and it felt like a normal part of my routine. And then slowly I took it back out. So don't feel like these little changes have to be something you do forever and ever either. Like, not every change that you make on your journey is going to be till the end of time. If you had looked at me in the beginning of my journey and said, you're gonna need to count calories every day for the rest of your life, I would have immediately thrown in the towel. Immediately. I would have said, no, I've done that. I'm not doing it again. It failed me before. I'm not doing that. The difference was this time, my goal was not count calories. My goal was see what I'm eating so I'm aware of it. And once I was aware of what I was eating, I didn't need to do it anymore. I just check in on occasion, right? So that became a part of my lifestyle for a short time. And then I took it back out to make my life feel a little bit more livable, more manageable, more maintainable. And then when I took that out, I added in another change. So instead of that, I was focused more on my protein. I'm gonna eat protein with every meal. Protein keeps you full. It helps you build muscle mass. It helps prevent muscle mass loss. Protein's important. So I was really focused on have protein with every breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack, and eat my protein first. I wasn't counting calories anymore. That was my small change. Instead of counting calories, I was focused on protein and eating my protein first. Nothing else that was going on in my lifestyle at that time was a change. I was walking and I was teaching my classes and I had stopped counting calories. So I was still meal planning, but I was really just focusing on my protein. And so that was the one small change that happened after the calorie counting ended, was focusing on protein. And then later on, way down the road, I started focusing on fiber. Fiber is a more recent thing for me. It's just been in the last 5 months or so. So little tiny things when you feel ready for them. If you don't feel like you have mastered the thing you just added, don't add something new yet, because that makes it feel overwhelming. And the goal here is to make it feel maintainable, to make it feel easy, because losing weight is not easy. It's hard. So make it as easy as you can for yourself. The other thing that I added into my routine was a GLP-1. So I do take compound tirzepatide. I get it through Mochi Health. It has helped me with my food noise. I have the disease of obesity. It is something that I will struggle with for the rest of my life. It's something I've struggled with for my entire life. I have food noise. I have inflammation with autoimmune diseases, and my GLP-1 helps to control all of that for me. It doesn't make it go away. It is not a cure. It is a treatment for my disease of obesity. And so I take my GLP-1 every single week. It helps keep my inflammation down. My body feels good so I can move it without pain or discomfort. It helps to keep the food noise away so that I'm not constantly finding myself in the pantry, even though I don't want to be in there, and then I'm mentally beating myself up the way that I used to. It's made a huge difference for me. If this is something that you're interested in, talk to your healthcare provider about it. See if it's a good match for you and your needs. If you're already on a GLP-1, continue to have that relationship with your provider. I personally am a believer that I have the disease of obesity. Nothing is going to cure that. I might lose the weight because I'm treating it, but I'm going to have this disease forever and I need to continue to treat it. And so I will be taking my medication indefinitely. Unless something different comes along that is a better option for me to help control my disease. If that's not something that you want, if you don't want to be on this medication for the rest of your life, have that conversation with your healthcare provider. Not everyone needs to. There are people out there who come off the medication and they're great, but there are other people who come off the medication who need to be on it and then they gain the weight and they're confused why they gained it back. And it's not because you failed at your weight loss journey. It's because some of us who have the disease of obesity have more going on in here and in our gut than just willpower. And we need the medication to help control the disease so that we can make these choices, these small changes successfully without our health jeopardizing the decisions that we're making. Because that's what has happened to me in the past. I could white knuckle it and lose the weight, but eventually my disease of obesity always reared its ugly head and would interfere and would then jeopardize all of the results that I had gotten because I had food noise that I just could not fight off anymore. And it would cause me to constantly be seeking certain foods, even though I wasn't hungry, even though I had just eaten, even though I kept telling it I didn't need it. There was only so much I could do to fight it. And so the medication helps me to keep that at bay so that I can continue to make these small changes and be successful. Does everyone who's in an overweight or obese body need GLP-1 medication? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So have that conversation with your doctor if it's something that you're considering, or if you think that you want to come off of it, you only want to be at short term, have that conversation with your healthcare provider, because your healthcare provider is going to be the best resource for you on that. But I personally believe that I will be on my medication forever, because just like any other chronic disease, you need to treat that continually, right? So if I have high blood pressure, I'm not going to just come off my medication once my blood pressure returns to normal. My blood pressure went to normal because I'm on the medication. So I need to stay on the medication to keep it at a normal range. Same thing with my GLP-1 medication. I'm not going to get rid of the disease of obesity just because I'm on this medication. I might lose the weight, but I will always be dealing with the disease of obesity. And if I come off of the medication, I know for myself and based on my history that that disease will come back and cause me to gain the weight and have all of the other conditions that have gone away return. The next thing that I did on my journey was I ate real food. In the past, I used to eat gimmicky food, right? Like I did the pre-order foods and the things that would be shipped to your house, or like little packets of things, or like the shakes that you would get. I tried it all. And the biggest difference this time was I said, I'm not eating gimmicks, I'm eating real food. And I also don't restrict my food. So if I want pizza, I'm gonna have pizza, but I'm going to add to my pizza. So instead of restricting my food, and instead of restricting the food I want, I allow myself to have it with additions. So if I'm like, oh man, I really want pizza, or I really want a burger, that's fine, but I'm going to add to it. So if I'm having pizza, I'm going to make sure there's protein on that pizza, like a good serving of protein. So I might add chicken to it, or some ground turkey or something like that. And I'm gonna make sure there's fiber with it. So I might add some vegetables to it, or have a side salad. So probably instead of eating 4 or 5 slices of pizza like I used to do, I'm gonna have maybe 2 and a side salad with the protein on it. Or like if I'm having a burger, instead of having a giant burger that's like greasy and making me feel sick later, I'm going to have a side salad with it. And I'm gonna try to eat that salad, before I go too heavy into the burger, so that I'm getting lots of fiber and I'm not overeating. That greasy food's gonna make me feel sick. I'm still getting the foods that I want, and I'm not restricting, I'm adding to instead of taking away. So that was one of my biggest things this time. Eat real food. I call them 1 ingredient foods. So I eat a lot more of those. As there's more 1 ingredient foods on my plate than there used to be, I'm good to go. So fruit, vegetables, meats, right? Those are all 1 ingredient foods. Eggs, Greek yogurt, all 1 ingredient. They're not super processed. There's not a bunch of things in them. It's just 1 ingredient, right? That's 1 ingredient foods. You can cook with them, you can turn them into things, but like I try to have more 1 ingredient foods than other things on my plate. And I make sure that I'm adding to and not restricting. So nutrition has been huge on this journey for me. In the past, if I was on a weight loss journey, it was all about restriction. What can I not eat? What is not okay on this diet? What can I eat on this diet? How long until I can eat these foods again? How much should I have of it, right? Like that was all I thought about all day long on past diets. And of course, that always led to failure because you were constantly thinking about food, which makes you hungry. This time it was different because instead of thinking about what I can't eat, what I need to take away, when I can eat another food again, like when I can have that food back reintroduced into my diet, how much of it can I have? Instead, it's I'm going to make what I want and I'm going to add to it. I'm going to add a protein, I'm going to add a fiber. And then I'm going to eat those things. And when I'm full, I stop, because there's always going to be more food later. And that has been a game changer for me on this wellness journey. I don't really have cravings anymore because I don't restrict myself. I could literally look at somebody else eating something that I used to like crave, and I will have no appetite for it because I don't really get cravings. Every now and then they'll be like, I'm kind of feeling like a burger. I'm kind of feeling like pizza, but it's not as common as it used to be because I don't prevent myself from eating those things. Nothing is bad. Nothing is off limits. There's nothing I can't have because this is not a diet. This is my life now. And as a human living my life, I'm going to eat pizza. I'm going to have a burger. I'm going to have a slice of cake on my birthday. I'm going to enjoy Christmas cookies. I just need to add to so that I don't overdo those fun foods and I'm still getting the proper nutrition I need with good proteins and fiber. The other thing is that I have moved my body. I talked about walking earlier. Move your body in some way. It doesn't matter what way it is, but every day move your body in some way that you enjoy. Maybe that is walking. Maybe that's standing up and sitting down out of your chair. Maybe it's chair yoga. Maybe it's going to a dance fitness class, or going for a swim, or riding your bike, or playing pickleball, or going to tennis, or playing golf. Whatever it is, find something that you enjoy and move your body. Movement is going to help you burn calories, which helps you get into your calorie deficit faster so that you can lose weight. But it's also so good for your mental health and mental clarity. It's going to make your body more tired so that you have better sleep. There's so many benefits to moving your body, and it's going to help you live a longer, happier, healthier life. So please just move your body in some way. Do you have to start on day one moving your body? No. If that's not for you, that's fine. But maybe make it your goal that someday down the road, you are going to get up and start moving your body. Maybe that's in a week or 2 months or 6 months. But don't let yourself get too far away before you try to move your body in some way, because it's going to be so beneficial on your journey. Adding in walking, just those extra steps each day, give me time to have mental clarity. It's like, I call it my mental health walk for a reason, because I'm able to think about the things that are bothering me. I'm able to think about what's going on in my day. I can kind of clear my head. I can push work aside for a little bit and think about the things that I need to think about for myself, or listen to an audiobook, do something enjoyable for me. And I come back feeling so much more peaceful and centered and ready to hit my day running. And just that little bit of extra movement makes me feel like I'm already living a better lifestyle. So I make better food choices just because I'm moving my body more. So that's been a really, really big change in my current journey versus in the past. In the past, exercise felt like punishment for food. And that is not at all what it is. Exercise is completely different from trying to lose weight. It's about doing something good for your body and your mind and your soul, because we're human and human beings are meant to move. So move your body in some way that you enjoy, whatever way that is. It doesn't matter. I'm here to support you and cheer you on it. Just do something every day to physically move and get around a little bit. If you can get some extra movement in, that's all the goal is. But it will make a huge difference in your journey just because of the mental benefits on it, along with the physical benefits as well. Also, this time I created a support system. So in the past, when I've tried to lose weight, I was the kind of person who didn't tell anybody. And it started kind of the same this time. I didn't tell anyone I was trying to lose weight. I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. But over time, I felt really alone. And so I had my gym friends, and they're always going to be supportive of me in wellness goals because they go to the gym and that's part of their lifestyles too. So of course, as soon as they started noticing that I was making changes and that physically changes were being seen, they were supportive of me. But before I even got to that point, I pulled my husband in on this journey and kind of told him what was going on. And then I let some of my closest friends know as well. But there were people I didn't want to include in it because I felt like they weren't going to be supportive of me, and I wanted to protect myself from that. And that's okay too. Create a support system of people that you know are going to be there for you and cheer you on through the good days and the bad days, because there's going to be days where you feel like you're failing and you don't want your support system to drop you just because you're having a rough day. You want them to help build you up so that you can keep moving forward. So if you feel like someone's not going to be supportive of you, don't include them in that support system. It's okay to not include somebody in your journey. You don't answer to anyone about the choices you're making for your own health. This is about you. You get to choose who you include to support you and be a part of this system. Maybe there's no one in your life right now that you want to include. Go online to social media, find some groups with certain interests that are like yours. Maybe it's a dance fitness group, or maybe it's a GLP-1 group, or maybe it's a group for moms who are trying to lose weight. Whatever it is, find a group online or go to the gym and make friends. The gym is a great community because everyone there is trying to be on, live their best wellness life as well. So it's a great supportive community for somebody who's on a wellness journey. But no matter what you do, find some sort of system to be there for you when you're having a tough day, and that you can be there for others, and that you can cheer each other on when you're reaching your goals as well, because it feels really good to celebrate those moments with a supportive group that's been there with you through thick and thin. Also, I created goals, but they were realistic goals. So like I said, I started this journey with a lot of doubt. And over time I was like, okay, well, maybe things are working. So my new goal is I'm going to track my food. my next goal is I'm going to go for a walk every day. My next goal is I'm going to go to the weight room twice a week after my class for 20 minutes. My next goal is I'm going to go a little bit longer. My next goal is, right? Like, so I just kept changing my goals as I achieved them. And that's one of the biggest things I think on this wellness journey. Before, I would say my goal is to lose 100 pounds. And then I wouldn't achieve it. Or I would achieve it and I would immediately be like, well, I got it. I'm done. But this time my goals were, I would like to lose that. But my first goal is I just want to get my cholesterol down. So let's focus on food. And then it was, well, now I still have to worry about my blood sugar. So let's continue focusing on food with a little bit more intention. And then it was, I'm feeling a lot better. I'd like to move my body more. So let's add in steps, right? So I was adding in these tiny little achievable goals that were much more short term that had big impacts over the course of the year. And those got me to that 100+ pound weight loss that at the beginning I was like, it'd be nice to lose that much, but I wasn't hyper focused on it. Instead, I really focused on those shorter term goals that were much more within reach and they felt attainable. And once I checked them off, got it, it was time for me to make a new goal. And constantly making goals over the course of this journey while I've been losing weight means that once I'm getting to maintenance, I'm very easily able to make new goals. So right now, my goal is body recomposition. So I'm working on progressive overload in the weight room, and I'm making sure that I am going to the weight room and that I'm, making sure that I'm having enough protein and all of these things. So I have new goals that are still happening, even though I'm kind of getting into the maintenance section of this wellness journey. And I know that once I am fully into maintenance, that will continue. I'll have different goals that will develop in my future that will help me continue on in this journey and stay where I want to be. It's also really important. Something that I kept telling myself throughout this whole journey, this time that I didn't tell myself before, was this is not a short-term fix. It's really easy to get stuck on the number on the scale and be like, it's not moving, or everyone else is losing weight faster than me. And every time I got on the scale and it didn't move and I would get really mad and frustrated, I had to keep telling myself, it's not a short-term fix. It's not going to come, the weight is not going to come off right away. In fact, if it takes me years to lose the weight, I'm okay with that this time, because this time it's about making these lifestyle changes that are going to help me live a better, longer life, not about getting into a smaller jean size. Knowing that this was not a short-term fix and reminding myself that this was not short-term, I was not in a rush to lose weight. I was in a long-term marathon to get healthy, made my mind have a switch this time that made those frustrating moments feel less frustrating. It felt less like a moment to give up. And speaking of giving up, that was also a big change on this journey. In the past, I would have a bad meal, or I would go on vacation, or I would have a weak moment and I would go to the store and pick up a cake and eat part of the cake. And then I'd be like, oh my gosh, I just ruined my diet. I guess it's time to give up, or I'll just restart on Monday. And this was the first time I've been on one of these plans where I didn't restart on Monday, or I didn't quit because I had a bad moment. Instead, I forgave myself and I realized that one bad meal, one overindulgent meal, one slip up of going and having something I shouldn't have been eating was not that big of a deal because I'm human. Eating, a higher calorie meal one day for one meal was not going to throw off a whole week's worth of wellness. If I was doing really well the rest of the week, I was okay. I just needed to keep going forward. So I adapted the 2x2 rule, which I talked about in a video last week. So the 2x2 rule is something I learned about in the fitness industry. And so what that says is it's okay to have an overindulgent meal. It's okay to miss a workout. It's okay to be out of your routine once, but it's never okay twice. So if you miss your workout, the next day you go. If you have an overindulgent meal, the next meal or the next day, whatever it is you're doing, if you're on vacation, whatever, the next day, you are back to eating on the way you normally would. And I'm not going to say on plan, because there's no plan. This is just your lifestyle. The way you normally would is a better, healthier option, right? And what that is going to do is it's going to reset you without having to restart you. And that's the goal here. We want to stop restarting. We want to just keep going. And then the other thing is that I kept reminding myself that once I get to maintenance, I can't go back to the way things used to be. So a lot of times in the past, I would lose weight, I would get to my goal weight, and I'd be like, okay, I'm here. Let me go ahead and order a pizza. I don't need to go to the gym anymore. I'm hot, right? I reached the goal. I don't need to do those things, but I do need to do those things. Whatever you have to do to get to your goal is what you need to continue doing once you get to your goal, once you reach your goal. So keep that in mind on this journey. If you're making small changes that feel achievable and maintainable, then you're on the right path. But if you're making changes that feel like something you couldn't possibly keep doing for the rest of your life, then stop doing that and find another solution, because that's what's going to happen. However you get to that goal is how you're going to need to maintain that goal. So don't do things that feel hard, because you're going to end up feeling like it's too hard once you get to maintenance. So make these small changes so that you're eating enough calories that you feel like you can live a happy, healthy, like satisfying life. You want to be able to have dessert. You don't want to be so restricted that when you get to maintenance, having dessert is going to throw you out of maintenance, right? You want to move your body enough that you feel good about yourself and successful, but you don't want to be over exercising to the point of body fatigue and risking injury, right? So make it maintainable, make it achievable, make it something that you can do long term. So these are the things that I did to help make this time different. You do not have to keep failing every time you try a weight loss or wellness journey. It's about making small, achievable changes over time. Your journey will look different than my journey, but the biggest thing to remember is that it's about your mindset and making these changes slowly over a long period of time. You are not in a rush to get to your goal. You are only limited by the limits you set. So if you give yourself enough time, you can get to where you want to be. There's no one in competition here. It's just about you finding your health and wellness and making sure that you get a nice, long, happy, healthy life. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you find this video helpful in some sort of way. I would love to hear any tips and things that you want to share in the comments below. If you're on your own wellness journey, it's always great to hear from other people just like me. I'm just a mom in South Carolina who's lost 109 pounds with diet, exercise, and the help of a GLP-1. And so I'd love to hear from you as well. And if you haven't already, I would really love for you to like and subscribe so that you don't miss my next video. Thanks again and have a great one.